for not a surprise, not a treat, yes, but not that. Your soul will wake up. You will get it. I met her 31 years ago. 31 years ago. She was 11, I was 30. And something woke up in me. Something woke up in me. And you've always been there at every key moment in my life, and I am forever grateful. I am forever grateful for the way that you travel the country and the world to give your gift to the people who gather. So get ready, because Edwene Gaines is in the house. Edwene Gaines.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. Who couldn't be happy after that song? I want to give our music team our highest Alabama compliment. Are you ready for this? Yeah. What we would say in Alabama, sugar, is this morning, you about blew my dress up. My name is Edwene Gaines, and what I want you to know about me is that I am a woman of power. And I'm a woman of passion, and I care deeply about you and me and all of our brothers and sisters on planet Earth. And it's my full intention to make a difference on this planet. In 1976, I made a commitment to the Lord of my being, the goddess within me, that I would be 100% responsible for the transformation of the abundance consciousness of planet Earth. Yes. Yeah. I travel around the world now about 250 days a year, enrolling co-equal laborers in this task. Now I'm very clear that I don't have the foggiest notion how to do this. But one of my teachers said to me, but Edwene, you didn't know how to do puberty either. Did you? Consciously, I didn't know how to be born. Consciously, I did not know how to give birth to a child. And yet, somehow, I was able to do those wonderful things. And what I know now with clarity and certainty is that when any one of us puts our intention out there, and we make a 100% commitment to that intention, and we make every step, a step of impeccability, a step of integrity, then somehow the universe opens up a way where before there was no way. So just take a deep breath if you would. Let me share with you what I call prosperity. Prosperity for me is a vitally life healthy body for this God being that we are to express through. Prosperity is relationships that are genuine and authentic and nurturing and powerful, that work all the time. Prosperity is work that you love so much, it's not work, it's play. And prosperity is all the money you can speak. So if that would work for you, would you humor me and give me a good old Alabama amen, sister? Amen, sister! Right, I'll take you home with me. So several years ago, I wrote a book called The 4 Spiritual Laws of Prosperity, a simple guide to unlimited abundance. It's in the bookstore here, in the kitchen area, whatever that area called. Social hall. And if you get one today, or if you brought one that you've already had, I'd love to sign it for you. In that book, I outline my journey from really holes in my shoes kind of poverty, not being able to feed my baby kind of poverty, to a level of living today that many would consider a life of great wealth. And I did so by coming into alignment with 4 very simple laws. Now, folks, there's nothing new here. You've heard all of this before, probably many times. The secret and the trick is to do it. Very gently poke your neighbor and say, I think she's talking to you. Spiritual law number 1 was my biggest challenged because I just didn't want to do it. And here's what I consider spiritual honor 1. We must acknowledge that God is our source. God is my source. Say it with me. God is my source. Now, that's an easy thing to say, but the law requires an action. And that action is for you to prove to yourself that you know that God is your source. You must return 1/10 of all that you've received back to that person, place, or institution where you've received your spiritual food. It's called the tithe. T-I-T-H-E. Now, the word tithe means 1/10. It does not mean 3%. It does not mean 7%. It does not mean what's left over after you pay the bills. It's 1/10 off the top, given back on a regular and disciplined basis to that person, place, or institution where you've received your spiritual food. Now, what is spiritual food? Spiritual food is that which causes us to remember who we are, wakes us up and shakes us up and gets us back on our spiritual pathway. Now, I want you to please hear me. I'm not talking about giving to charity. That's a very kind thing to do, and yes, we all do that, but that is not a tithe. I'm not talking about buying books and CDs and affirmation cards and giving them to your friends who need them. That's a very kind and generous thing for you to do, and as a matter of fact, I brought some along. I hope you'll do that very thing with. But that is not a tithe. A tithe goes out from your heart mind to that place where you have received your spiritual food out of deep gratitude. And the promise is, according to the Bible phobia people, put fingers in your ear. The promise is that when you do that, the windows of heaven will open for you. I'm here to tell you that that has been my experience. I was so afraid to do it. I was working 2 jobs. My daughter and I lived in a little 1-bedroom apartment. We were sleeping in the same bed. And you know, I'm not a stupid person. I have all sorts of impressive looking pieces of paper that say I know an awful lot about some very unimportant stuff. And I couldn't make it. And so I began to search, to study, you know, what does it mean to be spiritually prosperous? At the time I was not in any kind of an organized religion. I had left behind the fundamentalist church in which I was raised, but had a deep and abiding faith in a higher power. And I knew there had to be a better way than the way I was doing it, so I began to study. And I'd get the Catherine Ponder book, or Charles Fillmore, or Stuart Raisin. I'd come to the chapter on tithing. I'd skip that on the next one. I know, some of you have done the same thing. Folks, if you want to participate in a life that is full at every level, my belief is that you must acknowledge that God is your source. There is no lack whatsoever. The limitations that you have are self-imposed. You must begin to trust God at every level. And tithing is a wonderful way to prove to yourself that you know God is your source. It may be a little scary at first, but so what? You're bigger than your fear. I'm asking you to choose God today over your money. And just take a look and see what happens in your life. Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity, says that the moment you begin to tithe, your faith is increased 100-fold. And just imagine what you could do with 100-fold more faith. After I started to tithe, and I was tithing in a very scared way, and it wasn't a whole lot of fun for me. I wish I had started in a holier way, but I was scared. And as I began, I found my faith start to grow, and I opened my first business with a $2.75 classified ad, and my phone rang off the wall. I could see their results, their powerful results. We'll talk more about that this afternoon in the workshop and get all your questions answered. Spiritual law number 2. We're required by spiritual law to forgive everybody all the time, especially ourselves. How many of you right now know you have some forgiveness work to do? It's time to do it. Let's see those hands. Good. Here's a test to see if you have any forgiveness work left to do at all. Do you still have a body? Pretty good giveaway. I've done a lot of forgiveness work in my life, and I continue to do it on a daily basis. And one of the things I've noticed about my process is the only people that I ever have to forgive or those people who don't do things my way. And there seem to be a lot of them. And many of them drive in Asheville. So every night before I go to sleep, here's my prayer technique for forgiveness. I ask myself in prayer, have I put anyone outside my heart today? And usually I have. There's some poor soul that did not get Queen Edwene's edict about how to behave on planet Earth, so it's off with their heads. So I first of all have to forgive myself. You know, when you forgive yourself, do that tenderly and gently. Don't beat yourself up. Forgive yourself the way you'd forgive a little child, with love and compassion. We're on a steep learning curve here. Yeah? And then I have to forgive them for not understanding what my rules are. And then I have to look and see what's going on here. For me, it's always the same issue. It's a control issue. I know how you ought to behave. You hear that? I'm working on it. Pray with me. Forgiveness is a powerhouse tool for you to use. It will open the windows of heaven for you so gently, so beautifully, so easily. Forgiving yourself and everyone else for everything. That's your job. You have to do it. And don't tell me that you can't forgive yourself. I love you enough to tell you that that's a lie. Forgiveness is an act of will. You will yourself to forgive. Some people don't know this, but I'm going to share a secret with you. All financial debt is about unforgiveness. Financial debt is a socially acceptable way to punish yourself. When you no longer have a need to punish yourself, you allow your debt to disappear. Deep breath, you're doing good. Some of the colors running out your faces, that's all right. We'll talk more about all that this afternoon and get all the questions answered. We're only going to talk about one more of the laws this morning, then we'll talk about all four this afternoon in depth. Spiritual law number 3. We're required to set clear-cut, tangible goals. What do you want? What exactly do you want? Jesus Christ said, ask and ye shall receive. He did not say, make me guess. Most people treat their catalog order store better than they treat God. Can you imagine calling up Neiman Marcus or Sears or whoever you're ordering from these days and say, hey, would y'all just send me something you think I'd like? Where the computers would go nuts. When you order from a catalog store, you have to tell them the page, the fabric, the color, the size, the number, all sorts of specific details. And yet we dare to go to God with this airy-fairy prayer and wonder why we get airy-fairy results. Please hear this. What starts in vagueness stays in vagueness. So I was doing this workshop one day, and we get very specific. I give you a little goal sheet that you can begin to write on, and I'm focusing on being specific. Catherine Ponder says the more specific you are when you set your goals, the quicker you will have your demonstration. So you don't say, I just want a car. You say the make, the model, the color, the interior, all the details that are important to you. You don't say, I want to go on vacation. You say where you want to go, how you want to travel, but you want to see it like that. The more specific you are when you set your goals, the quicker you'll have your demonstration. So after the workshop, this woman called me. She said, Edwene, I did it wrong. I couldn't wait. I was at the workshop, and I wrote down on my goal sheet, I want more love in my life. She says, I got home. My neighbor brought me over a pregnant dog. I'm pretty sure that's not what she had in mind. But she got exactly what she asked for. You see, all your prayers are always answered. Every single one. You can have it all. I'm going to take a moment now to cause you to remember who and what you really are. You are God's beloved. because you are God. You are one with the One. There's never in the history of the universe been anyone like you. There never will be again. You're unique. You're a wonder. You're precious. There's a power in you that's greater than anything in this world. A power that will lift you up to your highest dream if you will play with the big kids. Get in touch with that soul that wants to soar. And know that within you there is power to create anything. But you must know the rules. In my opinion, you must tithe where you've been fed spiritual food on a regular and disciplined basis. You must forgive everyone all the time, especially yourselves. And you must set clear-cut, tangible goals. We'll talk more about all these and the fourth spiritual law this afternoon. We start at 1. There's no charge for the workshop. It's offered on a love offering basis. I invite you, if you will, to go and call somebody that you care about and ask them to be here with you. Now, I know that some of you may think that you have other plans. I invite you to allow the Holy Spirit to change them. Let me close with a quote I'm sure you've heard many times before by Patrick Overton. I love it and it feeds my soul. Mr. Overton writes, "When you have come to the edge of all the light that you know, and you're about to step off into the darkness of the unknown, faith is knowing that one of two things will happen. There'll be something solid to stand on, or you'll be taught how to fly." I'll see you at 1. God bless you.